Hi guys, it's Nancy. Welcome back. All right, so I have a brand new release stamp. This is called Reeds and Ducks. It's brand new from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps, part of their May 2020 release. And I'm going to see how quickly I can do two different scenes with this using the same products. So I'm going to use the stamps, the same ink, but I'm going to use Pan Pastels in two different color schemes. So let's see how we can do this. Let me see here. All right, so I have some Neenah Solar White cut down to 5 by 3 3/4. I have my sponges off to the side here. I'm going to put one aside. I've already mounted my stamps on some blocks here using the front and back. And these are high quality red rubber stamps. And I punched out two little circles, a half circle and a circle out of some Post-it paper. Okay, so, and I have some paper towel off to the side here. And then the ink we're going to use is VersaFine Clair with my handy dandy handle. All right, so the first one I'm going to do, first I want to make my backgrounds and then I'll do my stamping. And that's because I'm using Pan Pastels, so I don't want that residue on top of my stamps. You can do it the other way around where you stamp and then do your Pan Pastels. But in this case, we're going to do background first and then do stamping. So on the first one, I'm just going to mimic the packaging. Okay, so I'm going to do this red, orange sky, a blue water, and then we'll stamp out our silhouette images. Let's see how close we can get to that. So I have my Sunrise Sunset palette here. You can pick these up from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps as well. I will link them for you. And it comes with like red, orange, yellow, white. You may want to also pick up a colorless blender, but I'm going to start with this side of my sponge where I kind of already have some yellow, orange in there. Just going to gently clean my sponge off, and that's all you have to do is just wipe it on some paper towel. You do not have to use any kind of special cleaners. I've said it a billion times before. I love how easy it is to use Pan Pastels. I love how easy it is that they blend, and super easy cleanup. Okay, so I'm going to go in with some of the yellow, and I have this scrap piece of paper that I just used to cut off, and I'm going to use this kind of just to mask the bottom here for me. Try to make sure it's straight. All right, so again, just dipped in some yellow. That's all I'm going to do. How easy is that? Now I'm going to dip into some orange using the same sponge and just add a couple streaks there. And then a tiny bit of red, just a slight. Whoa, that might even be too much. It's okay. If I don't like it, I can wipe it off, go back into the orange, and kind of blend some of that red out. And then this is where the fun part comes in. If you have colorless blender, which I do have here, that's this guy here. See how it's kind of streaky looking? What's nice about the colorless blender, and I'm going to, again, use the same sponge, just do a pretty good job at dusting all of that color off. I'm going to go into that colorless blender, and you'll see it looks white on your sponge. But I'm just going to smear that over. And what it does is it softens our lines. So even that harsh red line now is kind of blended and softened and looks like it was meant to be there, right? Now, worst case scenario, you don't like it at all. You don't want it there. You can go in with a regular eraser, erase that. Now I can go back in with my colors. Go back in with the yellow. No one's ever going to know that I didn't like that in there. Go back in with my colorless blender and then just blend it all together. That's how easy it is to make that scene. Okay, now for the other side, I'm going to grab another piece of paper. We're going to do the opposite on this side. And I meant to put my sun down and I forgot. Whoops. That's all right. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to put our sun down there, go back in with my mask, my little paper mask here, just to keep our horizon nice and straight. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit more orangey there. Just right over that. Again, just dipping into the orange, okay? Now when we lift our mask, all right, that's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so now we have our little sun there. Okay, now I'm going to flip this way. I'm going to go in with a clean piece of paper. And I'm going to switch to my day and night palette, which is going to be your blues and your greens. And I'm going to do the water. And somewhere I have a blue sponge. And I just reuse these sponges over and over and over again. The only thing I change out is my paper towel. I just kind of fold it over until I get to a clean part. Again, just wiping that sponge off, getting all that color off. And if you've been watching my videos, I've been using these same sponges for over a year now. I've never cleaned them. They work fine. Okay, so for the water, I'm going to start off with a little bit of lighter blue, which is turquoise. Medium blue, I should say. And I'm going to put my paper right up to the line there, just as my, again, my mask. Right up to the line there, okay? Just going to put that turquoise in. Okay, and then I want to add a little bit darker blue, so I have some ultramarine blue. Just going to sprinkle that in, and then I have a darker blue, which I believe is phthalo blue, but I'll tell you the names here in just a second. And again, going to kind of clean my sponge off. Go into the colorless blender, pick up some of that, and just swipe that on, and it just blends those streaky lines together. We still have the different colors, but we don't have as much of the streakiness. So there we go. That is how easy it is to make that scene. Now all we're going to do, let me just wipe off my table here. I like to keep the lid on my colorless blender so I don't confuse it with white. There's a little tag on there. Okay, now the fun part. That all looks good. I'm going to leave it like it is. I think my horizon's a little crooked. Yeah, it's okay. And now we're going to just stamp. So normally I would use my handle. I'm going to take the handle off this time just because the stamps are already mounted. I'm going to leave the stamp ink pad there and stamp. So the first thing I'm going to stamp are the reeds on each side. So it comes with these tall grasses, and one has a corner on the right and one has a corner on the left. So when you stamp them, you'll see what I mean. This is the one that goes on the left. And because these are solid stamps, you might want to use your MISTI. They're fairly small, so I think if you stamp them once, it's fine. We should be okay there. And again, I like using the VersaFine Clear just because it is nice and dark and black, and it looks really good on silhouette images. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this over here in the left corner. Just want to press all of that down evenly. Give it a second transfer. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to do the reeds on the right side. We're going to do in the right corner here. Pretty good. Okay, the next one are these cute little ducks. It's a whole row of ducks splish splashing on that water. And I'm just going to put them right here in the middle, just like that. There they are, perfect. And then we have these smaller grasses, which are totally optional. It comes with, oops. It's one of the reasons I should be using a MISTI. Thank goodness it missed my paper. Just got on my fingers. Just going to put these grasses down here. And there is one more kind of tiny little tuft of grass. Let me grab that one. And these all, the backing is laminated, so it's pretty sturdy cardstock. And all you do is just clean your stamps off and put them back on here when you are done. So easy to store. Again, high quality red rubber stamps made in the United States. And for this little guy, I'm just going to use the tops, kind of fill in any little areas here. But over here. There we go. And that's done. The only thing we have to do now is seal it. And it's pretty easy to seal. I just spray some Krylon spray on there. I'll show you that at the end. But that was super easy to do. Let's see if we can do this again, but make it a night scene. So I'm going to move this one aside. Just going to wipe my desk off. Just a little spray and microfiber cloth, because I don't want any residue transferring to the back of my next card. Okay, so again, piece of Neenah. Now for this one, I am going to try to remember to put my moon down. So I do want my moon to be kind of a light blue color, so I'm going to start with that. It's very light turquoise right there. And again, I'm just going to kind of streak it in the center here. I know it's hard to see, but it will show up here in a second. Okay, so just some light blue. And then I cut a little half circle flat side here. I'm going to put that in the middle right over the blue. Okay, and this time I'm going to start with the water. How about I try to make sure I'm straight this time? All right, I think that's pretty straight. And I'm going to go in with my dark blue sponges again. Grab my paper towels over here. I hope I did not. I did move that, didn't I? I'm trying to remain straight. I want to be right at the edge of that moon. Blue moon. All right. Now I'm going to go in with the ultramarine, which is a kind of a purpley blue. I want my water to be a little darker on the edges. I'm going to leave that center kind of light because I want that to be like the moonlight coming in on the water. And in fact, I'm going to grab some shimmer here. I can open it. This is called Pearl Medium. And it's got this pearly shimmer to it. And I'm going to grab a clean sponge and I'm going to dip into that. And just right here in the center where I think the moon is, kind of that moonlight, just want to put that in the center there. Okay. I'm going to go in and add a little bit of the darker blue just again on the edges. Maybe a streak here and there. All right. Not going to fret about that because Again, we're going to use our colorless blender. And just going to go into the colorless blender and again just pull that together. Now if you feel like, oh no, I lost my moonlight there, again just kind of go in with an eraser and erase some of that color out of there. And you kind of want to be, you know, random about it because, you know, moonlight rippling on the water. So it is a little lighter, and I did, unfortunately, doing that, lose some of my pearl. I'm going to put my pearl back in there. And I know it's hard for you guys to see on the camera, but when I pick it up, you'll see it just adds a little bit of shimmer in there. Okay. All right, now, you guys see that? Very, very light shimmer in the center there. Okay, I'm going to put my shimmer away. And I want this to be an evening scene, so we're going to kind of duplicate that, but we're going to turn this over. And we're going to use the same mask because we're going to be using about the same color, so that's not really going to matter. But I'm going to darken it up. So I'm going to start with the darker blue. Let me tell you the correct name here. Yeah, that is phthalo blue. I'm also going to use some violet and possibly a little bit of black. So I'm going to go in with the phthalo blue, which is a much darker blue. Again, put that in there. And I'm going to add some violet, which is the purple. Kind of streak that in. And then around the edges, I'm going to add just a little bit of black. So just going to pull that black in. Just a little bit of black. Now, here, we can, again, go in with the colorless blender. So let me grab that. I'm going to grab that on a cleaner sponge, though, because I don't want any of that black transferring over. So I'm going to use this sponge. Colorless blender. Just pull that across. Okay, so here we have our evening moonlit scene. Very simple. Very pretty. We're just going to add our stamps. Again, let me just wipe the desk down. You just take a light paper towel and kind of wipe any of that extra off. If you think that's too harsh, you can use a soft brush and wipe some of that excess off. The soft brush is so you don't get any of that transfer and scratching of your paper. Paper towel is sometimes a little rough. That's okay there. All right, and then I'm going to carefully remove my mask. There we go. And it is a light blue. If, again, you wanted to go in with the shimmer, let's do that. We can use a little blending sponge, just a smaller sponge. Okay, so now our moon has a very soft shimmer to it. And then we just add our stamps, just like we did before. Now, if you want to use the handle, you just pick up the handle. It's magnetic. The ink pad's not going to come off of there. Ink up your stamp. Stamp this side. Okay. I'm going to add this one, which is on the right side. Okay, I'm going to do my little ducks. Right there in the middle again. Perfect. And some little grasses. There we go. So very easy to do. 2 scenes, same stamp set, one night, one day, using the same materials, just using pan pastels. Now, how I set them, if you wanted to stamp your sentiment, this is when you would stamp your sentiment. And one thing I do like to do on my night scenes is add some stars. So I'm just going to take, this is just a white jelly roll pen. Kind of put those on the outskirts here. Could do some paint splattering as well. And to give it a little shimmer, I use the little sparkle pen. This is the Jelly Roll. I think it's, I don't know what it's called. Some kind of Jelly Roll glitter pen. I will link everything down in the description for you. But this one just adds a little sparkle to where our stars are. And I like to kind of just outline my moon with it. Again, just to give it that little extra shimmer and sparkle. Hopefully my head is not getting in the way here. There we go. Pretty. And then even if you wanted to, you could add a couple of lines of shimmer in the water here. This is not an overpowering glitter pen. It's very subtle, but it makes an impact on your right under our ducks there. Very pretty. Hopefully camera's picking that up. And then again, if you wanted to stamp your sentiment, you could certainly stamp your sentiment on there. And then how I set it is I have a spray box. Let me grab that. Okay, so I'm just going to spray both of these at the same time. And this is just an empty box with some paper towels at the bottom. And I use the Krylon Shortcuts. This is the clear gloss. You can use matte spray. Whatever you use, you just want to make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. You can even use hairspray. This you can pick up at any kind of art supply store in the paint section or in the paint section of your hardware store, because that's all it is just clear spray paint. And you just want to do a couple quick bursts. And that's it. It dries fairly quickly. And we have 2 images, 2 different card fronts. So great for thinking of you, miss you, masculine cards. There we go. Let me pull these out so you guys can see them a little better. All right. So if you have any questions about anything I use, post them down below. If you like this video, I do appreciate your thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, click the bubble that's going to come up in the bottom right corner. And click the bell for notifications, and every time I post a new video, you will get notified. Let me know in the comments which one you like better, the day or the night. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep on stamping. Bye-bye.